I'll be back. Talk to you later. Hey, pup. Good boy. Where's that old lady? I wanted to talk to her about the dragon. Oh well. Well, it's nighttime, so while I wait for everyone to wake up, I'm going to go over and get that axe from that place. So yeah, we'll be back. Sure, it's not far from here. It is in Falkreath hold, which is a little bit of a walk, but I do want to recover that before anything else. No, here's all those wolves. So yeah, Lakeview Manor is like somewhere over here, I think. If I remember correctly, it's not that far from the Guardian Stones. It's along Lake Ilinelta. So we'll just have to walk a little bit until we get there. Ooh, we got a trest. A trest? Yeah, we got a trest. A treasure chest. What do you got? Kind of neat. A beautiful golden treasure chest. Unique Ronin sword. Ooh. Yeah, so this is from a mod that puts a bunch of these golden treasure chests around the map. You can find them. They usually have unique weapons as well as a bunch of gold and sometimes gemstones in them. It's pretty cool. Ooh, ore. Hey there, hunter.
It's not like my poaching is hurting anyone. Take a look.
Oops, didn't mean to cut you off there. What can I sell? How much gold do you have? You only have 18 gold. So, I'll sell you this stuff. I don't think I actually sold anything. What the hell? Okay. I should save my game. It's been a minute. Here it is. Oh, there is a mage here, though. Don't worry, ma'am. Novice conjurer? Or like novice corpse. What you got here, huh? Got a septum. Steel sword. A book. That I don't want to read right at this moment. We'll come back. Don't worry. It's got some logs here. Where is this axe? It's around here somewhere. Oh shit, oh my god. Holy shit, I'm fucking dead. Get up there, damn it. Okay, we leveled up. Oh, okay, alright. Well, let's put our health up. And I would like to immediately put a skill into one hand. Come here, you coward. Boom! Suck it. Okay, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Where is this guy's body? I know it's supposed to be around here. Unless I misunderstood the directions. Because, yeah, I don't see any bodies around here. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, apparently it's southwest of the Conjurer's Altar and north of Pine Watch. So southwest. Well, that's the Conjurer's Altar. So it must be over... Ah! Woodcutter. The Woodsman's friend. Look at that. Beautiful. And sir, I'm just going to take all your stuff. Oh, and now I'm too fat. Let's drop that. Yeah. Alright. Sweet. Very cool. Now then, shall we read a book? I'm just going to write down the title of this. Oh, what was that other book? I didn't write that one down. The Book of the Dragonborn. Okay. 2920. Hearthfire. V9. Hearthfire, Book 9 of 2920, The Last Year of the First Era by Karlovac Townley. Second of Hearthfire, 2920, Gideon Blackmarsh. The Empress Tavia lay across her bed. A hot late summer wind she could not feel banging the shutters of her cell to and fro against the iron bars. Her throat felt like it was on fire, but still she sobbed, uncontrollably, wringing her last tapestry in her hands. Her wailing echoed throughout the hollow halls of Castle Giovis, stopping maids in their washing and guards in their conversation. One of her women came up the narrow stairs to see her mistress, but her chief guard, Zook, stood at the doorway and shook his head. She's just heard that her son is dead, he said quietly. 5th of Hearthfire, 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Your Imperial Majesty, said the potentate Versidue. Through the door. You can open the door. I assure you, you're perfectly safe. No one wants to kill you. Mara's blood, came the Emperor Riemann III's voice, muffled, hysterical, tinged with madness. Someone assassinated the prince, and he was holding my shield. They could have thought he was me. You're certainly correct, Your Imperial Majesty, replied the potentate, expunging any mocking qualities from his voice while his black slitted eyes rolled contemptuously. And we must find and punish the evildoer responsible for your son's death, but we cannot do it without you. You must be brave for your empire. There was no reply. At the very least, come out and sign the order for Lady Rija's execution, called the potentate. Let us dispose of the one traitor and assassin we know of. A brief pause, and then the sound of furniture scraping across the floor. Riemann opened the door just a crack, but the potentate could see his angry, fearful face and the terrible mound of ripped tissue that used to be his right eye. Despite the best healers in the Empire, it was still a ghastly souvenir of the Lady Rija's work in Thurzo Fortress. Hand me the order, the Emperor snarled. I'll sign it with pleasure. The 6th of Hearthfire, 2920, Gideon Cyrodiil. The strange blue glow of the will-o'-the-wisps, a combination, so she'd been told, of swamp gas and spiritual energy, had always frightened Tavia as she looked out her window. Now it seemed strangely comforting. Beyond the bog lay the city of Gideon. It was funny, she thought, that she had never stepped foot in its streets, though she had watched it every day for 17 years. Can you think of anything I've forgotten, she asked, turning to look back on the loyal Kathringi Zook. I know exactly what to do, he said simply. He seemed to smile, but the Empress realized that it was only her own face reflected in his silvery skin. She was smiling, and she didn't even realize it. Make certain you aren't followed, she warned. I don't want my husband to know where my gold's been hiding all these years. And do take your share of it. You've been a good friend. The Empress Tavia stepped forward and dropped from sight into the mists. Zook replaced the bars in the tower window and threw a blanket over some pillows on her bed. With any luck, they would not discover her body on the lawn until morning, at which time he hoped to be halfway to Morrowind. 9th of Hearthfire, 2920. Phrygius, High Rock. The strange trees on all sides resembled knobby piles crowned with great bursts of reds, yellows, and oranges like insect mounds caught fire. The Rothgarian mountains were fading into the misty afternoon. Tirala marveled at the sight, so alien, so different from Morrowind, as she plodded the horse forward into a open pasture. Behind her, head nodding against his chest, Cassier slept, cradling Bosriel. For a moment, Tirala considered jumping the low-painted fence that crossed the field, but she thought better of it. Let Cassier sleep for a few more hours before giving him the reins. As the horse passed into the field, Tirala saw the small green house on the next hill, half hidden in forest. So picturesque was the image, she felt herself lull into a pleasant half-sleeping state. A blast of a horn brought her back to reality with a shudder. Cassier opened his eyes. Where are we? He hissed. I don't know, Tirala stammered, wide-eyed. What does that sound? Orcs, he whispered. A hunting party. Head for the thicket, quickly. Tirala trotted the horse into the small collection of trees. Cassier handed her the child and dismounted. He began pulling her bags off next, throwing them into the bushes. A sound started then, a distant rumbling of footfall, growing louder and closer. Tirala climbed off carefully and helped Cassier unburden the horse. All the while, Bosriel watched open-eyed. Tirala sometimes worried that her baby never cried. Now she was grateful for it. With the last of the luggage off, Cassier slapped the horse's rear, sending it galloping into the field. Taking Tirala's hand, he hunkered down in the bushes. With luck, he murmured, they'll think she's wild or belongs to the farm, and won't go looking for the rider. As he spoke, a horde of orcs surged into the field, blasting their horns. Tirala had seen orcs before, but never in such abundance, never with such bestial confidence. Roaring with delight at the horse and its confused state, they hastened past the timber where Cassier, Tirala, and Bosriel hid. The wildflowers flew in the air at the stampede, powdering the air with seeds. Tirala tried to hold back a sneeze and thought she succeeded. One of the orcs heard something, though, and brought another with him to investigate. Cassier quietly unsheathed his sword, mustering all the confidence he could. His skills, such as they were in spying, not combat, but he vowed to protect Tirala and her babe for as long as he could. Perhaps he would slay these two, he reasoned, but not before they cried out and brought the rest of the horde. Suddenly, something invisible swept through the bushes like a wind. The orcs flew backwards, falling dead on their backs. Tirala turned and saw a wrinkled crone with bright red hair emerge from a nearby bush. I thought you were going to bring him right to me, she whispered, smiling. Best come with me. The three followed the old woman through a deep crevasse of bramble bushes that ran through the field toward the house on the hill. As they emerged on the other side, the woman turned to look at the orcs feasting on the remains of the horse, a blood-soaked orgy to the beat of multiple horns. That horse yours? She asked. When Cassier nodded, she laughed loudly. That's rich meat, that is. Those monsters will have bellyaches and flatulence in the morning. Serves 'em right. Shouldn't we keep moving? Whispered Tirala, unnerved by the woman's laughter. They won't come up here, she grinned, looking at Bosriel, who smiled back. They're too afraid of us. Tirala turned to Cassier, who shook his head. Witches. Am I correct in assuming that this is old Barbin's farm, the home of the Skeffington Coven? You are, pet, the old woman giggled girlishly. Pleased to meet so infamous. I am Minista Skeffington. Ooh. Minista. Now that's a cool name. What did you do to those orcs? Asked Torella, back there in the thicket. Spirit fist right side the head, Minista said, continuing the climb up the hill. Ahead of them was the farmhouse grounds. A well, a chicken coop, a pond, women of all ages doing chores, the laughter of children at play. The old woman turned and saw that Torella did not understand. Don't you have witches where you come from, child? None that I know of, she said. There are all sorts of wielders of magic in Tamriel, she explained. The Psijics study magic like it's their painful duty. The battle mages in the army on the other end of the scale hurl spells like arrows. We witches commune and conjure and celebrate. To fell those orcs, I merely whispered to the spirits of the air, Amaro, Pina, Telatha, the fingers of Kinnereth, and the breath of the world, with whom I have an intimate acquaintance, to smack those bastards dead. You see, conjuration is not about might or solving riddles or agonizing over musty old scrolls. It's about fostering relations, being friendly, you might say. Well, we certainly appreciate you being friendly with us, said Kassir. As well you might, coughed Minista. Your kind destroyed the orc homeland 2,000 years ago. Before that, they never came all the way up here and bothered us. Now let's get you cleaned up and fed. With that, Minista led them into the farm, and Torella met the family of the Skeffington Coven. 11th of Hearthfire, 2920. The Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Risha had not even tried to sleep the night before, and she found the somber music played during her execution to have a soporific effect. It was as if she was willing herself to be unconscious before the axe stroke. Her eyes were bound so she could not see her former lover, the Emperor, seated before her, glaring with his one good eye. She could not see the potentate Versaduce, his coil neatly wrapped beneath him, a look of triumph in his golden face. She could feel numbly the executioner's hand touch her back to steady her. She flinched like a dreamer trying to awake. The first blow caught the back of her head, and she screamed. The next hacked through her neck, and she was dead. The Emperor turned to the potentate wearily. Oh, shit. Now that's done. You said she had a pretty sister in Hammerfell named Corda. 18th of Hearthfire, 2920. Dwinnen, High Rock. The horse the witches had sold him was not as good as his old one, Kassir considered. Spirit worship and sacrifice and sisterhood might be all well and good for conjuring spirits, but it tends to spoil beasts of burden. Still, there was a little to complain about. With the Dummer woman and her child gone, he had made excellent time. Ahead were the walls surrounding the city of his homeland. Almost at once he was set upon by his old friends and family. How went the war? Cried his cousin, running to the road. Is it true that Vivek signed a peace with the prince, but the Emperor refuses to honor it? That's not how it was it? Asked a friend, joining them. I heard that the Dummer had the prince murdered and then made up a story about a treaty, but there's no evidence for it. Isn't there anything interesting happening here? Kassir laughed. I really don't have the least interest in discussing the war or Vivek. You missed the procession of the Lady Corda, said his friend. She came across the bay with full entourage and then east of the Imperial City. But that's nothing. What was Vivek like? Asked his cousin eagerly. He's supposed to be a living god. If Sheagora steps down and they need another god of madness, he'll do it, said Kassir haughtily. And the women? Asked the lad, who had only seen Dummer ladies on very rare occasions. Kassir merely smiled. Torella Skeffington flashed into his mind for an instant before fading away. She would be happy with the coven, and her child would be well cared for, but they were part of the past now, a place and a war he wanted to forget forever. Dismounting his horse, he walked into the city, chatting a trivial gossip on life on the Iliac Bay. Ah, what a pleasant tale. Alright. That said, let's head back to Riverwood. Especially now that we got this axe in our possession. How do I get back to Riverwood? There's the Guardian Stones. Okay. Rabbit. Oh yeah. Gotta love when killing a rabbit increases your skills. There was a camp over here. What was that camp for? I do kind of want to investigate that. Just bandits? Alright, I am gonna save this before taking the fight to these guys.
I'm warning you. Back off.
What if I don't want to back off, huh?
Picked a bad time to get lost. I'll try and make this quick.
Yeah! Right in the gullet. Okay, now what do you have? Treasure map 1. Oh, hell yeah. Ooh. Seared slaughterfish. Don't mind if I do. Lockpick, potion of minor magicka, a couple septums, and a pouch of 20 septums. Bunch of cabbages. An end table that's in the ground. Black robes. Suspicious. Okay, we'll come back to this camp. I don't even remember that camp being there in the past. That's strange. I do want to go sell a lot of the stuff I've already collected to the traders in Riverwood, and then come back and do Embershard Mine, which is up there. One of my favorite little dungeons in the game because of how, I don't know, it's just very simple and very nostalgic to go through it, you know? I've played through this fucking game so many times. Embershard Mine I always come back to. What time is it? 1 a.m. Oh god. Okay. We should go and get some rest in town. If we can, at least. I guess we can maybe sleep in Hod and Girder's house. That might be an option. Oh, wow. Okay. Perhaps more ingredients to check out. Mora Tapanella. Restores magicka. Nightshade. Damages health. Summer Bullet Cap. Restores stamina. Cool. Well, let's go see if we can sleep in Hod and Girder's house. If not, we'll rent ourselves a room for the night.
You lost?
Nope. Oh, sleeping on air. I see. Sleep for a good 8 hours.